August 29th, 1979, out in the backyard with my brothers and other people in the woods. There was actually an open burn going, and there was a red aerosol can that was thrown in there. And I just remember hearing the whistle and looking to my left. The can hit me on the left side, exploded, and I just remember screaming, at which point I started running, and my middle brother, James, just tackled me. I remember feeling that hitting the ground, and he put me out, and he sustained some second-degree burns on his arm. Getting up and walking to my neighbor's house, walking past the pool, at which I really wanted to jump in, but I remember knocking on the door and screaming, and my neighbor at the time, Mrs. Lahnert, she opened the door and she passed out. The oldest daughter, Debbie, was a registered nurse. She brought me up to the kitchen, and I remember her putting me on the ground and saying, just talking to me and calling my name and putting damp towels on me until the first aid squad and the paramedics got there. St. Barnabas, I just remember the noise of the chains putting me into the tank to start cleaning me up, so to speak. And I remember hearing my parents come in and my mother screaming, saying, that's my baby, that's my baby. And my father saying, Judy, he has to be a fighter, he has to be a fighter. I ended up spending 44 days, but coming home wearing the garments and also being 9 years old, it was like walking into a new world. It was a new me. It was, I guess, towards the end of October, coming to the new elementary school. They had a brief presentation on me, saying there was somebody that had burns and would be wearing garments and would look a little different. And that didn't take too long before I heard every name from, who's that freak, to Spider-Man, to words that I'm not going to say on camera. But it really wasn't until the later years or the high school years that I actually said to myself, this is you, Joe. This is the Joe you get. You either like me or you don't. You accept me or you don't. And it definitely made me a stronger person. So from that point on, I really had a desire to go back and try to give back.
Well, my injury happened when I was 3.5 years old. It was back in 1962. It was four of us. I was with my older brother, and we went into a garage. We were playing gas station, filling up a station wagon with a 5-gallon gas can. Someone lit a match, and that's the last thing I remember, except coming home from the hospital. I spent 120 days in the hospital. Burns 40% of my body, my hands. I lost the use of my right hand partially. But coming home from the hospital, I remember driving into the driveway, seeing the garage that was burnt, the chars that was left of the garage from the fire, and thinking how it was a miracle that we survived. And I just felt so lucky to be alive. But, surviving that, I think it made me a nicer person. It made me a stronger person. And I think that's why we're involved with the foundation now. We can walk a parent or a child through that journey a lot easier than we had it.
In 2013, I attended my first World Burn Conference going to Rhode Island, and I was just blown away with the people that I was seeing. It was just that I was becoming inspired by looking at somebody that was much worse off than I was, just taking that mic and telling their story and putting it out there and just giving a lot of hope and inspiration to people that really needed it. And obviously even myself, it was definitely very helpful.
It was amazing. The first mic I won, I was embarrassed because I haven't cried in like 30 years, and that day I cried, listened to some of them stories. It was amazing. I know. It was simply amazing, some of the stories we heard and the struggle of people. And that's one of the things that I guess hit us hardest, looking at that and what can we do to make these people's lives better. And Phoenix opened that up for us. Joe and I are both co-founders of the Sanders Mattis Burn Foundation, and our main goal is to make sure kids have an easy transformation back into school, into life, and also to support their parents and tell them what we go through, that there's life after a burn injury. The first sponsor we had with the Sanders Mattis Burn Foundation was a 9-year-old girl, and she happened to get lice at school, and her mother put gasoline in her hand to kill the lice. Her mother just happened to turn her back for a second, and Munya walked past the candle, and her hair caught on fire. which burned all down her back, her hair, her head, her face, and her hands. Her hands got burned because she tried to put out the fire with her hands. Not only did we help Munia, I think we helped the mother a real lot too. I mean, I think we think a lot of the burn survivors are struggling, but we don't think enough about the parents and what they go through. And, you know, working with Munia's mother the way you did and I did, I think we brought her to a new level of understanding, which helps her get through a lot of the hard days. Just seeing a kid that hasn't smiled in a long time laugh with people her own age and be able to play just like a kid. And it kind of takes down that wall of protection that they have. The transformation is amazing.
So I'm in this meeting at the World Burn Congress where people are there from all over the country, and the speaker says, how do you deal with being in the workplace and people making judgments about you? And across the room, this man stands up and says, you know, I know that people are going to make judgments about me because of my visible injury, so I'm committed to proving them wrong. I'm going to be the hardest working guy there. I'm going to be the biggest cheerleader there. And my confidence is gonna be what they judge me on. It's not actually gonna be my burn injury at the end of the day. And I remember sitting across the room thinking, wow, what an important message that you can actually decide how people are gonna judge you. So when I met Joe, he told me that he has a foundation and that he's in New Jersey. And I thought, why don't you come to our Burn Survivor holiday party and get a sense of what we're doing in Lehigh Valley and in our local community here. And he came up to me at the Christmas party and said, how can I get involved? I'd like to support this community more. And of course I had a laundry list of events that he could start being a part of if he wanted to. But he kind of saw what we were doing in the community and said, yes, I want to be a part of this.
Liz had asked me if I was interested in being a burn camp counselor. So I said yes, and that was the best decision that I ever made. And I was kind of given the task of taking the tougher group of boys. Being a witness to the kids from the start of the camp, you just see them drop their guard, just open up, and they absolutely flourish, feeling accepted and loved.
I'm not sure if it's because Joe is just who Joe is, or if this is sort of the police officer coming out, but he sort of always leaves the space a little better, and in the little ways, in big ways when he shows up with 50 bagels at an event, but also in smaller ways, like when he picks up some trash by the side of the pool on his way by. Joe really inspires me to want to give generously when I'm somewhere, to really be fully there and giving in every way that I can be. And I think the people that know him, maybe you'll meet him tonight at this event, one of the things that I think Joe would say to you is live with intention. If there's something you care about, care in as many ways as you can. And don't stop caring, because the world has a lot of needs and it needs a lot of caring people.
I gotta tell you something, man, you are amazing. I mean, I'm so happy I met you. I love you as a brother. You make me laugh. You make me cry. I mean, the things that you're an inspiration. You know, people ask me, who's my inspiration? You're my inspiration. To see the things that you do and how you get it done and how you change people's lives, it breaks my heart into little tiny pieces.
I love you too, Drew. I do. And like I said, you do a terrific job as well. Well, hopefully we can continue to do what we're doing and give that opportunity to that child each and every year moving forward.